Mike?
Yes.
Big day.
Big day, yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Very much so.
But you've been planning this for how long? 30 years?
27, 28. It came out in April 97, so it's 28 years, yes.
So a
28
really
years, 3 days ago.
So listen, we just saw you handling that key. Let's have a look at that key. Tell me about that key.
That's a standard British Rail diesel electric locomotive driver's key.
But what's special about that particular key?
This key was the one that I was using in April 1997 when I shut this down for the last time at the end of service at the Midland Railway Centre after a 2-day event.
So that really hasn't been used properly for about how
It's
long?
not been used since then.
Wow, that's
It's
amazing.
been sitting in a drawer in my desk at home waiting for the day when it was going to be reused.
The build up to this has been ongoing. There's probably been loads of different setbacks along the way that you've had to overcome.
Oh, we've had loads of setbacks. When you get something as complicated as this, all the electronics, some of the mechanical stuff, it's stood for years. The guys have done an incredible job on. It's been virtually rewiring the cubicles there.
Okay.
You can see new wires. There's a few old ones left still, but they've all been tested and checked. But without that, you couldn't even dream of pressing the button. Yeah.
So you ran it last year, but it really hasn't moved very far.
It hasn't moved. The objective is to make sure it takes power in both directions from both cabs.
Okay. And then if it does, mission accomplished. Next stages?
Next stage is sorting out the niggles we find today, because there will be niggles.
Yeah.
There will be. It's a Deltic, yeah.
And this is the first time I've been anywhere near Tulyar
Is it?
since 1981, when it went out of service.
Funny enough, 19 was the first one I ever had a cab ride in.
Wow.
And it wasn't planned. I was on Grantham Station. I would have been no more than 11. And my mum used to take a crowd of us over on a Tuesday afternoon when we were off school to train sport. And this pulled in on a northbound, and I went down to look. It was a drizzly day, and the driver stuck his head out and says, "Up in, lad, and have a look." And I had a look in the cab, and I was all struck. And the second man suddenly shouted, "Harry, we've got to go. We've got a green." Next thing we knew, we're on the move. He said, "Don't worry, lad, I'll drop you off at Newark." And the second man says, "We don't stop till Donny." And as it happens, some family relative of his was working an up train back to the cross. So when we pulled into Donny, he grabbed hold of a member of the station staff and got him to take me over and put me in the cab of the one going south, which was actually number 17, Durham Light Infantry. And that's my second favourite to this.
One thing I think we should never forget is this isn't possible, any of this, without your wonderful volunteers.
Absolutely. You know, you can have as much money in the bank as you like, and it is helpful, but without the fantastic team that we've got now, that we've had over the decades as a society, since the society was formed, and we bought the locos in 1982, no, we wouldn't be anywhere near where we are today.
So do we need some younger volunteers to come through in the future?
We certainly do, yeah. I mean, you took a photograph earlier of the youngest volunteer, Alex at 17, and myself at 72.
Wow.
There's sort of 55 years between us.
Is there an age limit? Do they have to be a certain age?
16.
16 and up?
Yeah.
And they can come and work with you?
Yeah.
As long as they're grafters, they can come and work with you?
We want grafters.
Well, hopefully we can get those messages out.
Hopefully, yeah. Please.
Well, thank you for today.
Yeah.
Really.
That's the fire bell, so they've put the battery switch in.
Right. We better not press any buttons then.
No.
Right, okay.
We don't
Well,
need
good
it.
luck today. I hope you have a brilliant day.
Thank you.
I certainly will enjoy filming this. Thank you very much. Let's hope everybody enjoys it as well.
Yeah.
All right?
The noise you can hear in the background, that's the fuel priming pump.
Right. So are we starting up soon, actually?
Pretty soon, yeah.
Right.
Out the engine room.
Guys, I thought what we'd do later is we do a little bit of filming of Alex making a cup of tea, right? Yeah. 55 008 cab,
Yeah.
and it's been restored to a wonderful standard. What does today mean to you then? Because this is quite significant for me, running 15 for the first time.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you?
It's the next step in 15 coming back, because it sat on basically axle stands for 10 years,
Right.
and then to get it on the bogies, then get the engines in it, then get it started, then get it taking power, has been a long and slow process.
And you've been yourself and all your colleagues here have been a big part of that success for today.
That's been about over the last 4 years.
Wow.
Then it's really got moving, because obviously there's 3 locos, limited amount of people, limited amount of time, and the other 2 have taken priority, so it slipped back.
When I talk to you guys, and I've talked to many of you over the last few weeks, you all talk about the volunteers, and without you, it's not possible.
Everybody's a volunteer. There's
nothing that's possible here. You might have money, but you need volunteers to live the dream, as they say.
Yeah.
So, how important is it over the next few years that you get more volunteers and younger blood coming through?
It's vital.
Vital.
It's vital, because a lot of us are over 50, shall we say.
Well, yeah.
You know, and there's only a certain amount of time you can do it, and if we don't get the people coming through,
There's nobody to
in
pass on
30
the
years'
skills.
time, there's probably going to be Alex and maybe a couple of others trying to keep it all going.
Is it easy to persuade volunteers in, or do they need a bit of encouragement? How do you find it? Do they even know? How do they get to know what they could achieve with you guys?
Basically by coming along and seeing what you like doing.
Yeah.
Seems to be a misconception that you've got to have engineering knowledge to come and be a volunteer, and you don't have to be. There's so many other aspects, whether it's sales, meet and greets,
Working on the sales stand?
working on a sales stand, being in the depot, painting, bit of cleaning. No, there's loads. You don't have to be good on the spanners.
But I hope, like most things, you start on the bottom rung and you gradually work your way through with this organisation. Would you say that's fair?
That's definitely fair. You do tend to find where your skill set takes you, and where people pick up on you and go, "Oh, can you come and do a bit of this?" Go, "Yeah, I fancy doing a bit of that," and then it steps up. You know.
I was speaking to Mike, your colleague, Mike Hallam Rudd, and when I was chatting to him recently, he said to me, "We want volunteers. We need people to come and see us, talk to us." But he said, "What we don't want is we don't want people that just want to come along and drive a Deltic.
It's not going to happen.
They need to work through, don't they? Learn how to these things work.
It's like going to Duxford to sweep up in the hangar warehouse and think you're going to be flying a Spitfire the next day. It ain't going to happen.
No.
You know, you do have to work your way through it. Some people have got no intention of wanting to drive a loco. They're quite happy to come along and do
Just help.
what they want to do and get the pleasure out of working on the locos and around the locos.
So come on then, you work with them now. How long have you been with the DPS?
8 years, I think.
Is that as a volunteer or a member, or you been as a member longer?
I was a member way back in the late 70s, and then it lapsed.
Yeah.
And then I rejoined, I think, 2017 or 2018.
Do you know what? A lot of men of our age, we were big when we were in our teens and in our 20s, early 20s. Then things happened in our lives. We met women. We had families,
kids,
and we drifted away, and I think we're all drifting back.
I think you do. I think you go back to what you did in your youth.
Yeah.
And it's not going for trying to get your youth back. It's enjoying what you enjoyed then without... When you were 17, 18, like you were saying about the East Midlands Road Rovers, you just got on the East Midlands Road and you went.
Yeah.
You didn't have, I've got to get back and pay the gas bill. Going off. There's none of that, like, you know. No. So.
You rang your mum up from a red telephone box, or your dad, and he rang it twice, and they knew you were back at your local station. Mine was Kettering. What was your station? Derby. Yeah. So you used to go Derby, Nottingham, Grantham, to get the Deltics.
Oh, we used to go to Newark.
Did you?
Yeah, we used to get the DMU.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Crew Lincoln DMU.
Yeah.
And some days we go to Crew, and some days we go...
It's amazing to think that if we're a similar age, maybe 40 years ago, we don't know it, but we were maybe on the same Deltics, on the same runs, doing the same
There's a lot of us about the same age, and I'm sure our paths crossed.
Yeah, definitely.
We didn't know about it,
Definitely. Okay, so it's been great chatting with you today.
Yeah. Enjoying it.
If there was one thing, I mean, it may be a difficult question, and if you don't know how to answer it, don't. But if there was one thing that you'd hope for the Deltic Preservation Society, its locos in the next few years, can you think of one overriding thing? Is there anything that springs to mind that you think, one day? Because I have one.
What, for an event? So
anything to do with the society, its engines. Let me give you a dream, right?
The biggest thing I'm looking forward to is running all three at the same railway on the same day. And
Watch this space, isn't it?
That's getting tantalisingly close now.
Yeah, well, I can't wait for that.
Yeah,
I have a guess. I'm not going to say anything, but I have a feeling in my head where that might be, and it all sounds very, very exciting if it was to come off. And we have to leave people to work their imaginations, don't we? But
well, let's just say that they'll be able to pass each other.
Talk about giving the game away. Yeah, that's brilliant. cab of 55008.
Yep.
And this has been created to demonstrate to people that visit here what actually how the engine works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
This is open every Saturday and Sunday when the depot's open.
Yeah.
So people can just come in and have a look at their own leisure. If they want to ask questions,
yeah,
they're more than welcome to do so. And people will come in and explain things to them.
What sort of visitors do you get here? Are they people that are genuinely interested in railways? Are they people that are curious? What are they people that love Deltics? What?
A mixture of everything.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. We've got enthusiasts, Deltic cranks, general public just for half a day out.
Right.
Yeah, and they all come and have a look round, come in here, press the button. The kids have a great time sat in driver's seat, and
yeah, wow. So how long have you been part of the DPS?
I've been a member since '78.
Wow.
And I've been a volunteer since 2006.
Do you, I need to ask you this, because the last volunteer that I interviewed was young Alex, and he's only 17. So it's nice to speak to a slightly older person. What have you got out of being a volunteer all over these years? What has it done for you?
It's a lot of enjoyment. It's just enjoyment of being able to be involved in something what you've grown up with as a kid. Because I've grown up with Deltics from when I was younger.
Yeah.
So it's just being able to still be involved with them into adulthood. And
do you think it's slightly concerning that obviously the generation that you're in and I'm in, eventually, maybe in 20, 30 years' time, they're not going to be around anymore, and so we need to get some young blood involved.
Yeah.
Alex is a great example of that, but I would have thought the DPS are crying out for young volunteers.
Along with everybody else.
Yeah.
Getting your hands dirty, playing with trains, it's hard to compete against today's modern computer games that kids enjoy.
I think they don't know what they don't know, and if they actually did it, they'd probably love it, enjoy it, feel part of something. And all those
luckily, my two have been involved with this as well.
Have they?
One of them is actually responsible for organising all this.
Really?
And I've got two daughters.
Are they into Deltics as well?
Yeah.
What, your daughters are?
Yeah.
My God, you've brainwashed them from a very young age.
Yeah, they've grown up with them, and
wow.
As much as my other half says, no, not keep it up, or they have, especially the youngest one. Youngest one's as diehard as what people down here are.
So, what does this day mean to you then? We're running Tulyar for the first time in 27 years, 28 years.
28 years.
Properly running it. I know you've started it and moved it out of the shed, but that's as much as you've done previously, isn't it?
Yeah. My youngest daughter's never seen it run.
Right.
So and great day to see it back in action.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's brought memories back to me. I had haulage from it. The last time was from Grantham up to Doncaster on an East Midlands Ranger ticket.
Yeah, I used to do them every school holiday.
You used to pack your holidays with those, didn't you?
Yeah.
What did you live on the East Coast Main Line?
Retford. I lived about 100 yards from Main Line.
So when you had your bedroom window open at night when you were a young kid, you could hear the Deltics.
I could, if I looked out to my front bedroom window, had two windows in, and if I looked out of one of them, between the houses opposite, I could actually see the Deltics coming through.
You're a lucky man, and you're still with them all these years later, aren't you?
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff.